Hey everyone, so I just want to touch on the story I just shared, joking about the contractor talking to the client about design, giving their input. I'm sure there's a lot of people who think, wow, who does she think she is? Like the contractor can't even give opinion. But there's so many more layers to it than that. Let's just look at it in a couple angles here. One, I would never walk onto a job and say, why was that wall put up like that? You know what you should do? You should have used a 2x6 and maybe you should have used nails instead of screws. Like, I just don't think this is right. That's number one. But aside from that, of everybody having an ego trip on knowing their own job, when a designer is coming up with a design plan, there is like 10 steps before the finished product is actually happening. So the biggest part of design is what you don't see. Typically, there is a reason why something is being done in a certain way. Sometimes I'm designing a living room based on what's happening upstairs in the bedroom because I want everything to coincide. Like, you just don't know what is happening. When a design is done, there is a lot of conversation with the client before executing. So the contractor is typically seeing the end result when we're ready to start, kind of cutting and pasting and putting everything together that the designer has been working months on putting together. And many conversations has happened. And 9 times out of 10, the homeowner doesn't even remember why we did things a certain way. And if that is changed, if the design plan is changed, it typically causes a domino effect and all the pegs are going to fall in the wrong place. Instead of coming together, they are going to fall apart. And only the designer knows the end vision and the result and why we are doing things a certain way. Now, like I said, I have no issue if a contractor thinks, you know what, this could be done better. Maybe we overlooked something. But if that is the case, the only person you should be talking to is the designer. That's it, not the homeowner, because the homeowner hired the designer because they didn't know. And that's why the designer is doing their job, the same reason the contractor is doing their job, because the homeowner is not going to hammer and put together the walls and put the drywall on the same way that they aren't designing the space. So I guess it's a respect for the job in itself, right? I respect the contractor respects the designer. But if you are of the mindset that it's just an opinion, and whether the wall is red or the floor is brown or the closet is 6 feet wide or 4 feet wide, if you think it's all opinion based and you don't respect the designer, then that's where the problem comes in, because it is a very important job and there's more to it than understanding complementary colors and what pillow is going to look good on the sofa. There is so much more to it. And once everyone understands that and understands that there's a months of work, like the designer's job, primarily, the biggest part of it is what you don't see. The part when we start to see everything unfold and everything coming together, that's when the designer can kind of sit back and take a breath. But the 6 months, year, whatever before of planning, when nobody sees what's going on, that's when the real work is happening. So to go and try and change that later and not understand all of the fundamentals and everything that have happened and taken place to put this space together, this is why, in my opinion, it bothers designers so much. If I'm wrong, I have no idea, but for me, this is the issue. I don't have a problem with a contractor saying, hey, maybe you should do this or maybe you should do that, but not at the point when we're executing the plan, because everything is going to be messed up at that point. And that is why it's so frustrating. I've had the conversations, everything is being designed in a way for a reason. And hey, if someone wants to bring up a valid point, so be it. But bring it up to the designer, not the homeowner, because the homeowner is up to here and they don't know what's going on. So bring it up to the designer, but they often don't want to talk to the designer, so it's a whole thing. And that's a whole nother show, I guess. Yeah, literally a show. Maybe a podcast. Let's see. Anyways, I hope this was helpful.